And I wouldn't give that as a... It's not enough contact.
Okay, we'll get started. We won't wait for space.
Otherwise, that's a penalty. Because that's contact in the box. And all of that is touching.
Okay, right then. Listen up then, we are going to get started. So, today, this morning, we've all been waiting for it. Jackson Ben in particular, and the goalkeeping. Alright, we're going to cover goalkeeping. So the idea of this morning is we're going to look at some theory inside and we're going to get outside. I think we've got about 10 pairs of gloves, so we'll have enough to get everyone rotating around. We'll go outside and have a good run around for an hour and a half or so, just keep in. And we will have some UEFA B learners coming in, so they didn't do goalkeeping on their block like they're supposed to. So there's going to be 3, 4, 5 of them coming in to observe as well, so they'll get involved also. Stuff on the board, but I'm going to start with a video to get you inspired for the rest of the morning. So, if you can try and replicate what you're about to see on the video, then good luck to you.
Ben, you've got to do better than the video.
The first aid kit is back of the room.
Oh, I haven't watched it yet.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't watched it.
How many games are you going to?
Now this one would be great.
Is that American?
That first one's not even necessary. almost non-stop. It's been that golden thread that runs throughout. So what I want you to do now is you've got a sheet of paper on your table. We might move forward. Yeah, makes sense. Right, so I want you to split your page into four, as if it's the four corners. I'm not going to tell you how to label the four corners because you should know by now and you shouldn't leave these posters. Label it up, and I want you to draw whatever you want to do, the four corners for the modern goalkeeper. And I want it to be for the modern goalkeeper, what you think the modern goalkeeper is. Blank canvas, draw your four corners. I'm going to give you 10 to 15 minutes, but I am going to ask you to present back, and we will create the modern four-corner goalkeeper. Alright?
Well, you look at the baseline.
Sorry, I'm actually by the way. Tech, social, we're getting there. Physical, social, tech. Technical, physical. So you have got some laminates on each of the tables. So each of the laminate has a technique-based card. They're double-sided, so they will help you a little bit in the technical. So I've given you help with the technical. You can have a look at the card in terms of basic techniques.
Unbelievable.
What's that?
Unbelievable.
Not really what I mean, though. Although you will see, a lot of the goalkeeping is more drill based. Even I'm going to have to do something. Well, James, join that table when you get a chance.
This throwing, we can pop on that.
Bear in mind the technical will also include the tactical, so it needs to be the tech and tactical corner, please. Psychological is more what we call the 5 C's. Concentration, confidence, commitment. Communication, concentration. There's a number of times they're not involved as well. You could go 60 minutes without doing anything.
When you think about last night's game,
I think you can put distribution is part of those, isn't it? Really? But you've got forms of passing with your hand, passing with your feet.
Give me a bit more detail in these. So obviously you're going to get those three, but more about those three. So passing, throwing, type of distribution, but what type of distribution are we talking about? Short passing, the modern goalkeepers change in terms of their passing and throwing distribution.
so you've got, so when
They have more tendency to play out. They got roll, side on. Yeah, it's a little bit different to nowadays.
Yeah, the way they push it. Yeah,
or is that physical then?
to get away from them.
You make mistakes with going ahead.
some got green.
So what change in the outfield that makes this even more important? Trends in the outfield.
So I know it's something that's happening in terms of physical size, maybe presence. Command area, I think social Mon got communication obviously overall
What's the psychological point? When you go to the 5 C's, because if you're a culture, you remember the psychological, remember the 5 C's. Communication, commitment, education, you remember the 5 C's, that's what you're doing. Morning. How you doing? Good. Grab a seat, grab a
Another one, technical positioning involved in the starting higher. There's goalies coming out higher.
Be ready for
That works both ways. Sweeper, higher, starting position. No, I know the amount of punches kept it up is going to bring that up to he's like when David De Gea first came to the Premier League.
This one's not his.
and that's just going side to side.
As you on the edge, because what's happening against the 18, between the 18s and halfway.
Nowadays, keepers are 6'4".
Thank you. 1 more minute. 1 more minute. I'd like something in every corner if we can, please.
We have sweeper now. You're higher up. Yeah.
Did you see the stuff on Okay. Right, just hold it there, we're going to bring it into the group, so if you're missing anything, we will talk about it. have your attention then? Okay. So, we're going to go around table by table. So we'll start. What I would ask is that when you give your example, I would like the rest of the group challenge them to make sure they know what they're talking about. Okay? So check and challenge what they're talking about. Can they give examples? Challenge one another. We're block 3 now, so we should be able to do that. Alright, so let's kick us off then. Give us one, tell us which corner and give us an example.
For technical, tactical, better distribution.
Okay, so better distribution. What about the distribution though? Anyone want to challenge what they just said? Alright.
Better distribution. What do you mean better?
Thank you.
Van der Sar was on route distribution.
Go on, so Jax is calling you out and saying, what is better distribution?
Well, distribution is, say now managers want their goalkeepers to play out from the back, so their distribution is no longer just pumping up the field, it's going out to win backs.
Okay. That makes sense, yeah. So distribution rather than clear the ball as a sort of defensive strategy, but when we got the ball we're in attack, aren't we? But it was a little bit more get the ball out, it was more defensive. Now, actual distribution, you're actually in possession and that's an attacking strategy. Can you play a pass to certain players on the pitch?
It's more with feet now, isn't it? Because there seems to be development where keepers are more comfortable throwing it out. There used to be the big 30 years ago, the big kick out, and the people could throw it out, like you might throw it out. And then nowadays it's all that keeps
and different type of distribution. We'll talk later on.
There's less big number 9s like there were years ago, like forwards were, it was more
Yes, probably a fair point, isn't it? Yeah, less of a target player. You're not looking for a Shearer Sutton combination. Heskey Owen. Yeah. How many times Michael Owen loved playing Heskey? His goalkeeper would hit it to Heskey and got it on. Less of that. So yeah, that's possibly because of the outfield changes, the goalkeeper has to change.
And now they're almost so good, like the Man City keeper, he's almost looking for an assist.
He got one, I can't remember where he did get one. Yeah,
Wait, not to Aguero.
Yeah. But that was an actual pass.
Yeah.
That was seen it, bang, Aguero in, didn't even have to touch it. Alright, can you guys give me one from the physical, the one about making themselves bigger?
Making themselves bigger.
Okay, making themselves bigger. So they put that in the physical corner. Anyone want to challenge making themselves bigger in the physical corner?
What does that mean, making yourself bigger? What do you mean? Do you mean like physically? Like, are you in the gym getting bigger, or do you mean when you're about to block getting smaller?
When the striker's coming in, you're like you hold your ground.
That's technique.
Okay. Alright, so I've already said that to them, but yeah. So making themselves bigger, what they mean is technique. So who had technique making themselves bigger? Who introduced that to the English game?
Pete Schmeichel.
Pete Schmeichel, yeah? So in terms of technique, groundbreaking technique, is that kind of like make yourself massive, spread yourself as big as you can. Goalkeepers before that didn't really do that.
Where's that come from?
Next question.
Humble.
Yeah. So there's a great book, I keep referencing my books, but there's a great book, Numbers Game I think it's called, all about Schmeichel comes over from the continent, Scandinavia. What do they play a lot of on the continent? Handball. So when you're playing handball, goalkeeping in handball, when you're making a save, it's much more like this to make a save. If the goal's smaller, you come out and you make this kind of save. So Schmeichel does that, introduces that, and now De Gea, you'll see De Gea does a lot of this as well. So yeah, just bring from a different sport, isn't it? Yeah, handball, futsal as well, smaller goal, different technique. You can transfer those techniques. Okay, this table, I know you have some good stuff down there. Give us a different corner if you can.
Okay, so we had confidence in the psychological.
Confidence, so yeah, in the side corner we call it the final 6 C's, so confidence is one of those. Confidence in what scenario?
So we put passing out to your back four, like playing short. You'll be quite confident that they're going to be comfortable on the ball. That if they get pressed, then they just lose it, and you're going to concede a goal potentially.
Kind of two-way thing, confidence, isn't it? So you have the confidence to play out, but your defence has the confidence in you because you're confident to play out. Yeah. So Edison, Alisson, confident to play out even if they make a mistake. Part of their philosophy.
Also part of that would be if the defenders are passing back to the keeper. Sometimes they might just kick it out for a throw, but nowadays keepers are better with their feet so they can pass it back to the keeper and then they've got an extra man back.
Another attacking option, isn't it?
Yeah.
Exactly. Goalkeepers are now part of the attack, built from the back. Let's go this one.
We put mentally strong, so thick-skinned, strong character, so you know if you make a mistake, it's going to more often than not, I'm going to concede a goal. How do you put that to one side?
It's a dangerous position for mistakes, isn't it?
Yeah.
Backstroke.
It's the most explosive.
Although it's never their fault.
True.
Yeah, it's not.
Well, yeah, there is that as well. But what is it how can we as coaches develop that though? So you want goalkeepers to be mentally strong, mental toughness, resilience that we've talked about already on the course. But how can we create that in our players? Because you guys don't necessarily have goalkeeper coaches. I know some of you do, so I've seen them in the sessions. But how do we as coaches create mentally resilient goalkeepers, or just players in general?
Make sure you get the right gloves on.
Start your right. Everyone else in the ball.
So that is a traditional boot the ball at the goalkeeper. They just start cowering in the corner. But how can we build resilience in our players? What can you as coaches do?
Give them opportunity to try it again if they get something wrong.
So opportunity, make a mistake, have another go. Encouragement.
Let them know it's okay to make mistakes, and the more mistakes they make, the better they get.
Never criticise.
All of these things that you're talking about are about creating an environment. You're not physically doing anything different. It's just the words you use, the praise, or the lack of negative feedback. There might be a time and a place with other players that you might need to have that, but it's constructive because you're creating an environment that allows that. Okay, good. There's a certain one that I'd like you guys to give, so I want to... that top one in the tech.
Receiving.
Receiving. So without that table, so receiving is obviously changing, but I asked this table already. What outfield changes are impacting the receiving ability of our goalkeepers? What couple of outfield changes and modern trends are impacting the receiving of goalkeepers?
You can't, when a defender passes it back, you can't pick it up anymore. So it's
Okay.
got to be aware how to receive it.
Yeah. That's not necessarily a modern one, but 100%. The back pass rule changed massively. So, morning, just grab a seat wherever you want to. So in terms of receiving skills, before the pass back rule came into play, the goalkeeper could pick it up. So it would go goalkeeper, centre back, goalkeeper, and they just use it as a tactic. I think we talked on block 2, there was one, I think Rangers in a European Cup final. Goalkeeper kicked it long to Souness in the attacking half. Souness brought it on his chest, brought it down, it was the last minute, they were winning 1-0. Souness picked it up and smashed it back to the goalkeeper from the attacking half. And the goalkeeper just caught it. And they went 1-2, literally from one half to the other. So that's now changed. So that's not necessarily a modern trend, but yes, exactly right, pass back rule. What else? What other outfield trends are impacting goalkeepers' receiving skills?
The way towards it, pressing.
Okay, so yeah, principles of play. So we link it to the principle of play, defending, pressing. Pressing from the front, higher press, Man City, quite trendy, Aguero does it. They all press in the front. So that now impacts the goalkeeper's receiving ability. What else might impact?
Possession, playing the ball out from the back.
Yeah.
Often it goes there, you get used as the 11th player to move the ball around the back with a switch or a sweeper.
Trends now, we try and movement support. We're now looking for movement and support from our goalkeeper. Playing out from the back is something that's very in vogue at the moment. Lots of teams will try and do it. So those 2 trends, or 3 trends in Mark's example, have meant goalkeepers have got to work on their receiving. There was a time when they wouldn't even have to work on receiving because you could just catch it. No pass back. And there's one rule change next season which may change receiving skills again. Anyone know about the change of the rules next season which might impact receiving?
Goal kicks, isn't it?
Okay, goal kicks. Sin bins will definitely affect it if you're in the sin bin.
The goalkeeper doesn't go outside the area, does it?
Yeah, so law change for next season, goalkeeper can play the ball to their own teammate inside their penalty area. So if you want to, defenders can come into the penalty area, you can play 1 yard from a goal kick, and then the attackers are on you. They can come and tackle you in the penalty area. So from a goal kick, dead ball, attackers can't come in the penalty area, but your defenders can. So if you take that option and you play it a yard to a defender, well then attackers are in straight away. So they will be defending on the edge of the box, because they know you might not kick it over the top of them, you might play it 1 yard to the left. Yeah? So that may also change it. We will see how the press is affected by that. I know in some, they've been trialling it in different countries and competitions in the UK, and it does affect it. Because if you choose to take that option, you're then building pressure on yourself. But you can use that to your advantage, because then if their press high, you can use it to your advantage. Okay, so good, receiving. Some changes there. Guys, give us another one. Up to you.
You said for social media to be a good communicator.
Okay. What do you think for a goalkeeper, because we all know what communication is, But what represents good communication for a goalkeeper?
The ability to give good quality information quickly.
Okay, so quality information.
You're the first back play, you see the whole pitch, so you've got a nice, you can see a really nice balance of the pitch,
Yeah.
so good communication from there is helpful.
Okay, so technical and tactical information or tactical information. Anything else?
Say calm as well.
Yeah.
It's a bit panicked or a little bit excited, you might panic your teammates.
So the way you communicate
Clear and calm.
yeah, massively important. Yeah, we talked about confidence, or confidence and communication can come hand in hand, definitely.
The organiser.
Yeah, you
Take
kind of need
charge.
that to a certain extent.
Situations.
Taking charge, organisation, tactically at corners, set pieces, whatever it might be. Because some of your team and the way they set up might be dictated to by how the goalkeeper wants the corner set piece taken. I want this, if this is how that, and another goalkeeper might want it done differently. So you might need to communicate that in training as well. Was there anything in the video that we saw that reflected the modern goalkeeper? Anything you noticed from watching the video? There was a whole section on distribution, wasn't there? You think they do catch it?
No, I feel like it looked from the video as though they wasn't catching it as much.
Yeah.
At times, I think they catching it.
There was a couple that they definitely asked for the court, yeah. But that's actually a modern trend, yeah. So a lot of keepers, again, an outfield trend. We talked about yesterday, less crosses. Yeah, so it's quite trendy now. You know, Robin cuts inside, shoot rather than beat your winger and cross it in. So less crosses in games and training because the outfield players don't do that as much. So goalkeepers, especially on the continent, will be less likely to catch the ball. See, yeah, last night, first two crosses in the box last night, Arsenal-Chelsea, what did he do? Punched it. And both times, just dropped to the floor and then someone like Aubameyang almost scored in the first few minutes. So yeah, Kepa last night isn't used to crossing it. No doubt he could catch a ball from across 99 times out of 100, but they don't practice it. It doesn't happen in games. That's where they grow up, it's all on the floor. So you might have that from different goalkeepers potentially, even British goalkeepers now. Less crosses in the box, you don't have out-and-out wingers as much anymore. Okay? So we've got some changes to the modern goalkeeper, and we've talked about some of the key people that have changed and how it's influenced. But what I now want us to think about for level 2 is how we can incorporate our goalkeepers. And I'm conscious that some of you that work at Palace in particular have probably got goalkeeper coaches with the women's teams that I know that you guys work with. So you may have goalkeeper coaches and won't have to worry about it in the same way. You guys will be more planning how you incorporate your goalkeepers in your session later on. But I now want us just to spend 15 minutes. I want you to design a practice that is not specifically for goalkeepers, but incorporates goalkeepers into your practice. Now what I don't mean is simply play a match and have 2 goalkeepers, because that's easy. Alright, I want you to plan a practice that incorporates goalkeepers. Alright, it doesn't have to be a goalkeeping topic, because we'll do that outside and I'll show you some examples. But I want you to write down, you can draw balls, bibs, diagrams, you can make notes about how you would incorporate a goalkeeper, and I'm going to get you to present back your practice and how you incorporate the goalkeeper. Okay? 15 minutes. You've got 50 minutes, you can use Hive, you can use Spoon. I would encourage you to use those examples. Get yourself on Hive and Spoon if you haven't done so already. So I'm going to be expecting to see challenges you're going to set your goalkeeper, how you're going to incorporate it into a warm-up, how you're going to incorporate it into a practice.